You made it about Lil Baby, bro. This not Lil Baby, what the hell, bro? And nobody was going with a nigga.
She missed the flight. I get on the flight at 5 a.m. by myself. Haven't heard from her. Then the next day, she at Lil Baby restaurant leaving taste test reviews. I'm like, this what you doing?
I said, I was like, I want to take accountability for all the girls that was following that because I made everything look cool. That was just me in survival mode. For real. And not like taking it through or setting back or...
Now Chrisean Rock just dropped a bomb so crazy, it makes all her messy back and forth with Blueface look like practice drama. In the middle of breaking down over her baby, crying on Liv, and firing shots back at Blueface, she suddenly claimed that Lil Baby was trying to pimp her out to one of his wealthy sugar daddies for threesomes. That's not just messy talk. That's a full-blown setup where she was supposed to be the merchandise. And this didn't just come out of thin air. For months, Blueface has been fixated on dragging Lil Baby's name into every fight with Chrisean, accusing her of sneaking around with him, making him the villain in their arguments, and even throwing Lil Baby's name into his songs. So when Chrisean finally lost it and threw out this accusation, the internet went into shock. Some fans laughed it off like she was just venting. Others said this is exactly why Blueface was pressed about Lil Baby from day one. And honestly, if there's even a shred of truth in what Chrisean is describing, this isn't just wild gossip. It's straight up exploitation. The fact that she felt pushed to blast this out during a custody fight makes the whole thing 10 times darker.
With Lil Baby though, was Lil Baby trying to fuck?
Blueface wasn't trying to...
I know I wasn't asking about Blueface, I was asking about Lil Baby.
I'm saying, like, it don't start like that.
And let's be real, before Chrisean even dropped the Lil Baby bomb, her drama with Blueface was already spiraling out of control. Right after she gave birth, instead of stepping into his role as a father, Blueface jumped online to call her selfish and even threatened to snatch custody of their newborn son. The timing and the cruelty had people furious. And now with this Lil Baby angle, it's like pouring gasoline on an already blazing fire. Blueface jumped on Twitter and dropped a statement so cold it had people gasping. He literally tweeted, "If she don't take my son serious and make that her main focus for at least 30 days, I'ma file for custody. My kid not finna be molested and touched on like everybody in her family dead homies. I don't play them type of games." That wasn't just a random rant. That was Blueface announcing to the entire world that he was ready to drag Chrisean into court while their baby was still fresh out the hospital. But here's where it gets even messier. Right in the middle of all that, Blueface just couldn't stop bringing up Lil Baby's name. He kept throwing accusations, saying Chrisean was sneaking around and chasing industry connections instead of focusing on their son. One of their ugliest blow-ups even started because he swore she was spending time with Lil Baby right before giving birth. Chrisean couldn't take it anymore and went live, breaking down in real time. Through tears, she screamed at him, "You made it about Lil Baby, bro. This is not Lil Baby's baby." Watching her unravel like that, crying, shaking, and trying to hold herself together, showed just how far Blueface's paranoia had pushed her.
Nobody taking my kid from me, bro. Nobody taking my baby from me, yo. Nobody taking my baby from me, yo. You know how much I took when I was pregnant with him? Nobody taking my baby, yo.
From the start of this custody war, Lil Baby's name has been stamped all over their drama, even though he had nothing to do with the baby at all. And instead of the fiery, trolling Chrisean fans are used to seeing, this was a whole different side. She wasn't laughing or cracking jokes. She was raw, emotional, and honestly heartbreaking to watch. She kept repeating over and over that nobody was going to take her baby away. The desperation in her voice hit heavy, and it showed just how scared she really was that Blueface might try to follow through on his threats. That line hit different because love her or hate her, everybody saw how rough Chrisean's pregnancy really was. The fights, the stress, the chaos. She carried all of that while still bringing her baby boy into the world. So when she breaks down crying about protecting him, it doesn't feel like theatrics. It's coming straight from the heart. The comments went crazy with mixed reactions. Some fans said it was powerful seeing her so protective, with one even writing that they hope her family helps her get the custody paperwork locked down because she clearly adores that child and finally found the love she's been chasing. Others called it a moment of strength, telling her to keep God first and stand tall alongside all the other women who've been through that same fight. But no matter how people took it, her live made one thing crystal clear. Chrisean was officially done staying quiet while everybody else tried to spin her story. She wasn't letting Blueface or anybody else control the narrative anymore. And just when the drama between Chrisean and Blueface was reaching its boiling point, Lil Baby had enough of being dragged into their storm. After months of his name being thrown around like a weapon, he finally decided to speak for himself. And when he did, he didn't sound entertained at all. He sounded fed up. Lil Baby finally hopped on Twitter and shut the whole thing down with some heat. He tweeted, "I ain't with the trolling. I be laughing at certain stuff, but right now, stop playing. I ain't never tried to talk to no Chrisean. Please, stop attaching my name to that." Then he doubled down with another tweet. "I seen her at a party and told her some real. She know I never tried to talk to her. And if that wasn't enough," he added, "I know I bring attention, but Chrisean, even trolling about a child and stuff is too far. Thanks." You could feel the frustration bleeding through every word. Lil Baby wasn't just denying it. He was basically begging people to stop dragging him into this mess. And that's huge because Lil Baby usually keeps quiet and avoids feeding into online drama altogether. Fans instantly ran wild with it. Some said this proved once and for all that he had nothing to do with Chrisean. Others argued the fact that he even felt forced to clear it up shows just how messy things had spiraled. But either way, one thing was clear. Lil Baby wanted no part of this toxic storyline. But instead of letting his denial close the conversation, Chrisean flipped the script. She jumped online and wrote, "See? He finally said it. Facts. Told y'all I've been attached to his name because my baby daddy insecure as f. Someone tell Blue he can stop trolling me." And just like that, she used Lil Baby's own words as proof that she'd been right all along. Instead of cooling things down, it only added fuel to the fire between her and Blueface. And the internet couldn't look away. That was classic Chrisean, messy but low-key triumphant. She wasn't just relieved that Lil Baby denied the rumors, she was gloating, like, "See? I wasn't lying, it was Blue making this whole thing up in his head." Then she went even further saying, "I'm done trolling. I just needed Lil Baby to clear the air cause my baby daddy gave me hell over a dude and won't believe me about anything." It came off like a mix between a sigh of relief and a victory lap. But here's the twist. Even though Lil Baby shut down the rumors, the way Chrisean spun it kept the fire burning. She wasn't walking away clean, she was flipping his denial into fresh ammo to drag Blueface all over again. And just when it seemed like she might let it rest, she took things to a whole darker level. Chrisean claimed that Lil Baby wasn't just being tied to her name by Blueface. She said he was actually trying to sell her off to one of his wealthy sugar daddies for threesomes. According to her, Baby was lining her up like some kind of business deal, like she was supposed to be the entertainment for a rich man's bedroom. And this wasn't something she threw out casually, the way she said it, angry and emotional. It felt like a secret she'd been sitting on for a while. She didn't just hint, she straight up brought up Lil Baby again, saying he once complimented her in a way that didn't feel innocent at all. It was raw, unsettling, and it left the internet split between disbelief and suspicion.
You're cute on that tomboy shit. Like, I like that. It was like, he gave me a compliment. But
And
that's the only flirt thing. But he was really giving me advice. He was just like, "Yo, you the motion. What are you doing?" I said, "Whoa."
Lil Baby said that.
Yeah. And I'm like, "All right, baby. All right." He's like, "What?" I'm like, "You talking to me like we really that cool, man." So then,
not gonna lie, I get why a lot of people actually believed Chrisean on this one. When you look at the timing, Blueface's obsession with Lil Baby suddenly makes way more sense. If he really knew something shady was happening behind the scenes, his nonstop paranoia wouldn't look so random. And let's be real, the way Lil Baby snapped in those tweets didn't exactly erase suspicion. If anything, it made some people side-eye the whole thing even harder. because this isn't the kind of claim that just disappears. If what Chrisean is saying has even a hint of truth, then we're not just talking baby mama drama anymore. This crosses into exploitation territory, and that's disturbing on a whole different level. The second she dropped that sugar daddy bomb, the internet went crazy and split right down the middle. Some said she was reaching way too far, while others swore she was finally pulling the curtain back on something real. Either way, the comments were loud and unfiltered. One fan wrote, "You have to get it together. If it's not true, move on and ignore him." But that's the thing. Moving on has never been simple for Chrisean. Blueface has been dragging Lil Baby's name into their fights non-stop. And now with her own accusations in the mix, it's not something she can just block and walk away from. When the drama is tied to disturbing claims like this, it sticks. Another fan came in with some tough love, writing, "Stop letting that clown mess with your mental, ma. He's miserable and wants you to be too. He just wants attention and to feel important." And honestly, that comment hit deep because it summed up exactly what people think Blueface has been doing this whole time. Don't allow it. Every time you let him mess with you, he's controlling you and dragging you down another notch. Stop allowing it, baby. That comment hit hard. Because if you really read between the lines, this wasn't just about Blueface anymore. Fans were starting to lump Lil Baby into the same box, men trying to control or exploit Chrisean like she's a pawn in their games. And that's exactly why her sugar daddy allegation didn't just fade away. People saw a pattern forming, and they were tired of watching her spiral right in the middle of it. At the same time, there were fans literally begging her to just walk away, leave Blueface behind, focus on her baby, and reclaim her peace. That plea was everywhere in the comments, which showed two things. The audience is exhausted with the nonstop chaos, but it also exposed something deeper. The saddest part is that Chrisean can't just leave it alone if what she's saying about Lil Baby is true. Because if a superstar rapper really did try to pass her off to a wealthy friend, like she was some kind of transaction, then this goes way beyond her personal drama with Blueface. It becomes about protecting herself and making sure her son doesn't grow up in a world where his mother is treated like property. The fan reactions split into two loud camps. One side clowning her and saying, "Girl, move on already," while the other side whispered, "What if she's actually telling the truth about how deep this exploitation goes?" And that right there is why people didn't just laugh off Chrisean's sugar daddy claim, because too many have already watched her trauma play out in real time. Chrisean stays caught in the same cycle of exploitation, this time with Blueface. Their whole relationship has been one long loop of abuse that everybody can recognize by now. It always starts with the love bombing. After every messy blow-up, Blueface will suddenly post her up like a trophy, buy her something flashy, or crown her his queen online. And Chrisean? She falls right back in, defending him on social media, telling the world nobody understands their bond. That's the honeymoon phase, the piece that keeps her hooked, the reason she stands by him like nothing ever happened.
Man, if me and anybody got beef, why the first thing I try to say anything is about my son? My son got nothing to do with this argument. My son or my got nothing to do with our argument. Go toe to toe with me. Stop trying to throw up shit, because I could throw up your kids.
But fans know the script too well. Because once the sweetness fades, the tension starts creeping in. The shady tweets, the little digs in interviews, the back and forth lives, those are the warning signs. You can always spot the passive-aggressive energy building before the storm finally hits. And sure enough, it always spirals into the explosion stage. That's when it goes viral.
You all right, dude? Bro, that's not good, bro. Damn, dude. Bro.
Street fights caught on camera, screaming matches on Instagram Live, cops being called, and ugly drama that should never be brushed off. But somehow, instead of being treated like the serious red flags they are, the chaos keeps getting packaged by them and their teams as just drama for clicks and attention. And now, once again, that cycle has reached the boiling point, captured on camera for everyone to see. What should have been private, painful moments end up blasted across the internet, replayed like entertainment, while the reality behind it looks more damaging every single time. After the explosion always comes the same tired stage, justification and denial. Blueface flips the script, calls Chrisean crazy, and blames her for everything.
If I'm intoxicated and I beat your ass, nobody's gonna say anything about me gaslighting, about me intoxicated, about what you did. They're gonna say no. Blue couldn't control himself. He got out of his emotions and tear up, send him to jail. It's a double standard.
It's not a double standard.
Okay, you're an idiot.
If I get mad just like
You're an
him,
idiot.
No, now you're trying to say I do it first.
You do.
All the time.
You do.
Meanwhile, Chrisean breaks down, ends up blaming herself, and says he's just misunderstood. That's textbook gaslighting, and it's ugly to watch. They spin it, dress it up as passion, and act like it's love, when in reality, it's straight-up abuse playing out in front of millions. And Blueface doesn't even hide it. He'll hop online and flat-out call Chrisean crazy, claiming she's overreacting and making things bigger than they are. The public sees it, but he tries to make it look normal. Then comes the repeat, like clockwork. They patch things up, claim it's for the baby or out of loyalty, and the whole cycle kicks off again. Fans are stuck watching the same train wreck hit reset over and over, and every time it feels harder to look away. And not gonna lie, when you line up that entire toxic pattern with what Chrisean is now saying about Lil Baby, it doesn't sound so far-fetched anymore. If she's been treated like property in public, tossed around in fights, and dragged through headlines like she's disposable, why wouldn't she believe another man in the industry was trying to use her the exact same way? You can't tell me that doesn't make Chrisean's story hit way different. Because if we've already watched her stuck in this toxic loop with Blueface, it's not a stretch to picture her being exploited outside of it too. And honestly, that's what makes the industry's silence around all of this even scarier. As wild as Chrisean's sugar daddy claim sounds, people don't even know whether to believe her, and that comes down to her reputation. Let's be real, Chrisean built a name off pure chaos. The wild fights, the crying lives, the public meltdowns, it's all played out online for everyone to see. So now, when she says something this serious, there's always a crowd quick to roll their eyes and say, oh, she's just being dramatic again.
There's no such thing as jail talk. You feel me? Blue's not broke, yo. He got money. When I get mad, I call him a broke because he be doing broke shit. Like, stop playing. You feel me?
But when you think about what she's actually accusing, a superstar rapper allegedly trying to pass her off like she's a product, that's not drama. That's disturbing. And the fact that her past makes people second-guess her only adds another layer of tragedy to the whole situation. But here's the thing. Even in the middle of all Chrisean's chaos, there are moments where she looks way too raw, too broken, to just brush off. That live where she was crying over her baby, that wasn't trolling, that was straight pain pouring out in real time. And when she turned around and said Lil Baby tried to line her up for his sugar daddy, the way she said it didn't come off like clout chasing, it sounded like a desperate attempt to finally be heard. And that's exactly what makes this whole situation so messy. On one side, you've got her wild reputation. The fights, the tears, the breakdowns that makes people doubt her every word. But on the other side, you've got the undeniable receipts of how she's been treated by Blueface. Receipts showing how she's been used, controlled, and humiliated in public before. So when she says another powerful man in the industry tried to exploit her too, it's not impossible. It actually sounds like the kind of thing nobody in the industry wants to admit out loud. And that's where the real tension sits. Because if Chrisean is telling the truth, then this isn't just Blueface drama or messy baby mama gossip anymore. This is a superstar rapper allegedly trying to pass her off to a rich sugar daddy for threesomes. And if that's real, then the silence from the industry says more than words ever could. So don't get too comfortable, because the way Chrisean keeps talking, it feels like she's not done yet, and the next thing she exposes might be even worse. Make sure you hit that like button, drop a comment, share this with a friend, and don't forget to subscribe for more. See you on the next one.